Happy Wednesday. I had a really crazy day. I've actually had a really crazy, like over a week, maybe 10 days or so. I got some stuff going on with my dad that I'm not ready to talk about because I don't know what's real and what's not real. I just got done training. If you guys can't tell, and I had a phone charger in my hand. Um, yeah, it was like this crazy. Like first, I did some capacity work on the bike, and then I did basically all arms. So my shirts aren't gonna fit tomorrow, but that's fine. I don't have anywhere to go. It's COVID. Anyway, so I have some stuff going on with my dad. My dad is 78, um, and he has. I don't know what he. I don't know what he has. Like I don't know how to describe this because um, my dad has like 9 lives, right? He's had some really serious health issues in the last like decade or so. My dad was a very heavy smoker for about 50 years. Um, had quit smoking for a long time. And then, like 10 years after he had quit smoking, he was diagnosed with lung cancer, but it was contained in the lower lobe of his left lung and it hadn't spread anywhere. And they caught it like very early, it was very small. Um, and they have found like some really random things that are quite serious just kind of by accident for him. And so like probably the most interesting of all the things they have found with my dad is I think my camera's crooked. I'm going to see if I can fix that without. And of course, as soon as I went to turn the camera, I turned the video off. But anyways, I'll just splice that together. Um. Anyway, so with my dad, like they by accident when I think they were assuming he had lung cancer, just based on like his symptoms, and they had seen some like things on a chest X-ray, and he had like pneumonia that wasn't going away or whatever. It's when my niece was really young, like probably like a year old, and she's now almost 8. So it's been a while. Like he was at the VA and the doctor at the VA said, have you ever had a PET scan? And my dad was like, no, I've never had a PET scan. And a PET scan, for those of you who don't know, is typically the diagnostic tool that they use when they're looking for cancer. And so they said to my dad that day, they were like, before you leave, let's have you get a PET scan. And that I guess is like the beautiful thing about the VA hospital is that you can just go do those things. Like if I wanted a PET scan, it'd probably be like a 3-month wait, right? Um, but so he had a PET scan done and they found by accident, because they were not looking for it, a triple A, which is an abdominal aortic aneurysm. And if 10 is a rupture, my dad was at a 9.9. And if that would have ruptured and he would not have sought medical attention relatively quickly, he would have bled to death. Like he would have bled out internally. And so he they said as he's at the VA, like he was at the clinic, and they're like, you cannot leave. Like we have to take you by ambulance to the hospital in Minneapolis. And my dad lives like 2.5 hours away from Minneapolis. And he was like, can I go home and get a change of underwear first? And they're like, no, you have to go now. So it was, a real big production and stuff. And so they were able to get in and do surgery and put a stent in and like all these things. And so he's had, some really, other crazy things that have happened, again, that they've just kind of found by accident. And so he's been having on and off, probably for, I would say, the last 6 months, although the timeline I'm not sure of because the person that's giving me the information, hi baby, is, I don't want to say that they're unreliable, but I'm going to say that they might be a little unreliable. And like when they speak to me about my dad, like the story I will get is like, oh, your dad was confused, and I'll be like, okay. But they make it sound like my dad like woke up one day like 2 days ago and was confused when they're talking about an event that may have happened like 2.5 years ago. And so anyway, my dad has had a couple of pretty serious episodes of, I would actually not call it confusion. I would call it like auditory and visual hallucinations. Since September, it's happened twice. Hi, Kitty. Mommy's filming. He doesn't care that I'm filming. Anyway, and so um, he's on a lot of medication because he also has congestive heart failure. And I told you, he's a mess, guys. He's a mess. Um, and so he's got a lot of diabetes, like he's got a lot of things, and he's on a lot of medication. And all of the medications that my dad takes, almost every single one of them, the number one side effect is auditory and visual hallucinations. And then most recently, and then I'll move on from this and we can talk about training and weight loss and all that stuff. Um, One of the things that they're tossing around right now is Lewy body dementia. And we have no family history. None of my dad's brothers have it. Like his aunts never had it. His parents both died relatively young, but like my grandma died from cancer, but she was, in her 70s, probably late 60s when that happened. My grandpa died in his 70s, not sure from what, but it's just, it doesn't, like, it makes sense based on like what is happening to him, but it doesn't make sense. If that makes sense, guys, right? And I know, like I always say this, like I'm a doctor, but I'm not that kind of doctor. And then again, the information, because I'm not on my dad's like paperwork yet, and that's for a whole different vlog. The information I'm getting, I don't think is complete. And so I'm trying to slowly kind of interject myself. And I have two siblings, I have two brothers. And so we're going to have a little family meeting this week, the three of us, and we're going to talk about whether or not we wish to pursue, once my dad is feeling a little bit better, because these things are weird, guys. Like, and again, I don't understand necessarily if this is just part of Lewy body, and if anybody has experience with this and they want to make a comment below that, hey, Karen, what you're describing is totally normal. Like, I would love to talk to someone about this just to maybe reduce my own anxiety. This isn't every day. He is not having episodes of confusion or hallucinations or, auditory visual aggression. He has no memory when these things happen to him, and they have always coincided with hospital stays. Although his wife has shared that he, a couple of times, maybe in the last couple of years, and again, I don't know how reliable that is, he has, thought there were people in their house and there wasn't anyone there, and heard things and, whatever. And so, and again, I'm not sure, like, I'm not saying that that isn't happening. Apparently Kitty wants to drink, guys. I'm not saying that that's not happening, but I'm saying that I'm not sure about the timeline of those events and if they coincided with other medical emergencies that he's had, because he has had some, again, pretty significant medical things happen. He was in renal failure like 2 years ago. He has edema because of the congestive heart failure, like all these things, right? And again, all the medications he's on have these symptoms like of, again, auditory hallucinations, visual hallucinations, aggression, but those are also symptoms of Lewy body dementia. And, and so it could be that, although I would be kind of surprised if it was, but it would be okay if it was. Like, it doesn't, it's obviously like there might come a time where he doesn't know who I am, right? And that is hard to think about, but he doesn't, like, again, this has only happened like this like twice, right? And it's only coincided with hospital stays. He has not had, to my knowledge, this severe of like an episode, if you will call it that, in the past. And like what happens is, and it's very strange to me, is that he will like go into the hospital, this happens, and then all of a sudden just like he wakes up the next day and he's totally fine and has no memory of any of it, And so I don't know if that's common, and I haven't found anything really with Lewy body that says that you will, have a quote unquote an episode and it could last, 4 or 5 days, of hallucinations and confusion, and then all of a sudden you wake up and you're fine. I haven't found that. And so that's where I'm kind of like, what's really happening, right? Like, what is really going on? So, hi, baby. He does not care that I am filming. Anyway, so that's what's been going on with me, and I'm sorry that was really like a long rant, but I just needed to say it out loud because there's some other things going on that I don't want to share yet because I'm just not sure what's going to happen, and just some things that, like, I have some concerns about some stuff going on at my dad's house, and I'm not sure I'm not sure what his case manager and stuff is going to do, but as soon as my dad, he'll have to go to rehab probably for like 3 weeks to help with strength in his legs and balance again. But then once he's home, and as long as he is not exhibiting any symptoms of, cognitive issues, decline, whatever, um, I'm I'm guessing at this stage that my brothers will probably agree that we need to be put, like as his power of attorney, like over his healthcare directive. I'm not super concerned about the financial stuff at this point. Like, I don't know if that's necessary. It might be a little bit too much, but, um, but I kind of feel like my brothers and I, need to be a little closer to the action per se. So anyway, so that's what's been going on with me. Um, had a really good week nutrition wise. I had a really good week training wise. Yesterday was my off day, which I am so glad that I took. Definitely feeling a little bit like just like inflamed from my training, which is pretty normal, especially when you're doing a lot of cardio. And our open season for CrossFit starts here in March. And so I've been doing a little bit more like conditioning work, like Metcons, and like Sunday I did like a double Metcon, and then the Packers one, I didn't say that on Monday because I just was like, I don't want to talk about football because I don't want to jinx it. But yeah, so the Packers won this weekend, um, which was awesome. We have one more game before the Super Bowl, and I hate Tom Brady more than I hate anything on this earth, I think. So I would really like to see the W come for Green Bay. I think if they do it, it's going to be super close. But either way, really happy with the game this last weekend. Hi, buddy. Um, Although there were some times where I was kind of like, okay, are we going to fuck this up? Are we going to fuck this up? But yeah, no, but it was good. And then again, back to nutrition and training, feel pretty good about it. Was definitely feeling like the sodium from my sandwich and my soup from Monday. So that was a little bit weird, but I'll go ahead and post my weight for you guys right here. And you will see that I am down. I think it's an entire pound from last week, which is really good. And and I know there's going to be people out there that are going to be like, well, if you wouldn't have eaten all that food on Monday, and that's fine. You all can think that, but understand too, and I will always say this, is that I'm at the end of my journey, like not at the beginning. And I'm not digging on, like an Amberlynn or a Chantel, Foodie Beauty, who, oh girl, we gotta talk. You're a mess. Please stop going live. Okay, girl, just stop it. Okay, you're making a fool out of yourself. Right. And you can say whatever you want. Like, you can argue that, right? But again, I will always go back to, I 100% think that people should be able to present whatever they want to online. That's their business. I don't think people should be deplatformed, whatever. However, just because you can say it doesn't mean you should. It's sort of like yoga pants. Just because they sell them in your size, honey, doesn't mean you should wear them. Like, I'm just saying, like, that's just kind of how I feel. Anyway, back to my point. I'm not going to lose, 3-4 pounds a day, if I, cut my calories down, to, a quarter of what I'm normally eating, right? Because I don't eat 4,000 calories a day. My TDE isn't that high. Number one, I would love to, do not get me wrong. But, using my current macros, like, a pound to 2 pounds a week, pound and a half a week is pretty good, especially at this stage of the game and considering the type of training that I do. So, because I do get those days where I am, like, the inflammation, the water weight, whatever you want to call it, is pretty intense, and I can tell, right? Because my pants don't fit, my shirts don't fit, nothing fits, right? So, and that's just all the blood when you lift really heavy, or if you're doing really like crazy Metcons, like I was doing this weekend on Sunday, and that was a double, so it was like 36 minutes of having my heart rate at like 180 beats per minute. It was disgusting, but it was so worth it. Like, it felt so good. Like, I can't even describe to you how good it felt. But then again, I was inflamed for a couple days after that. So, but anyway, yeah, I'm happy about where things are right now. I actually ordered, because I'm really bored with my food, and I know I've said this a couple times, guys, but so what I did is I went ahead and I found a coupon or whatever, like a code thing for Freshly. And so I'm going to try it and just see, and I think use those maybe as like my lunches just to change it up a little bit. And I was surprised that they actually had like gluten-free and, some healthier options and stuff. And my video cut off. Anyway, Freshly. That's where I was. I was really surprised that they had some pretty decent options, you know? And I mean, I'm not really into prepackaged food, but I just got a few of those meals just because I had like a coupon. It was only like $20 or something for, you know, a couple of days worth. And then I found, what was the other one? Fresh Direct or something? I forget what it is, but I had a thing for that too. And so I could get like, I don't even know. It was like 6 meals. It was like $23. And so, and those are kind of cool because you actually get to make those. They just send you all the ingredients or most of the ingredients and you get to add them. So, just to change some things up because um, when I'm bored with my food, I tend to do one of two things. One is I don't eat it all, or I just am like, oh, I'll have some more yogurt, and then I'm eating like 6 gallons of yogurt, you know, in 4 days. In like, not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's not. I need to have a little bit more nutrition. But the one thing I did see about the Fresh Direct too, they have a lot of options, but it was a little harder for me to find something that was like a little bit more like up my alley in terms of like macronutrients or whatever. A lot of stuff super high in fat, um, you know, but compared to what I'm used to, right? Like I'm not saying that it's like crazy high, but like when I am in a deficit, like I'm only eating like 40 or 50 grams of fat a day. Like it's pretty low. You know, although I do play with that fat macro a little bit, you know, I can, if you're going to eat like moderate, like, so this is kind of the rule, right? And this is just from my experience, and this is what works for me, is if you are going to eat low carb, you have to eat higher fat. Otherwise, you're going to be hungry all the time, right? The fat is what fills you up. It's not the carbohydrates, right? It's not, you know, so if you're going to eat like protein is up here, higher, moderate to high protein, which is more like Atkins is high protein, you know, where keto is high fat, right? So you have like lower protein, low carb, high fat, right? That's keto, where Atkins is like high protein, you know, lower carb, not zero, not 20 grams, but 60 grams typically, and then like lower to moderate fats, right? And so if you're going to drop your carbs, you got to push your fats up, right? You know, just because otherwise you literally, you'll be hungry all the time. Like you will not be successful, right? You know, and I shouldn't say you as I'm like saying this is a fact, but for me, that's what I have noticed is that when my carbs come down, my fat has to go up a little bit because otherwise I'm ravaging, you know, and I don't like that feeling. And that happened to me on Sunday when I did my back-to-back Metcons. I could not eat enough food on Sunday. I could not eat enough food. And it was like, I think I ate 3 of my meals within like a 50-minute period. Like I just was like, okay, post-workout, let's eat. Okay. And like 10 minutes later, I was like, and I need more food. And it isn't even like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's not like a craving. It's not like, oh, I want some chocolate. Like, it isn't like that. It is like, I could have eaten the ass out of a dead rhinoceros. Like, it was so intense. It was so, so, so intense. And so, and that's something that I've learned as I've trained is that there's a difference between actual hunger, like that your body, I could not get enough to eat. Like, I was empty. Like, all my glycogen had to be gone at that point. Like I was just like, you know, and oh my God, I felt so good after I was done eating. I felt fantastic. So anyway, but yeah, it's been a really good week and nutrition wise, my training's going really well. I feel good. I don't feel as tired this week, which is good. My cycle started, so this is a TMI part about being a woman and being an athlete or training is that I get affected by that. And so like I have a week before my cycle starts that I call my week, and that's usually when I struggle to lift a lot of things off the ground because I just feel gross and I feel tired and depleted and it's like, okay, you know, and like usually once I get through that, then it's pretty good. So last week I was pretty tired. I was pretty run down. You know, a little bit of that this week, but the sun was out today. Which was nice. Although it was very cold here, like it was below zero with the wind chill for most of the day. And then, but the sun was out, so it did feel nice to have the sun coming into my house and actually seeing it for the first time in like 4 days. But yeah, other than that and the shit going on with my dad, like things are okay. Kitty had an oncology follow-up today for his adenocarcinoma, which is a nasal cancer. Which he was diagnosed with over the summer, and I elected to spend a shit ton of money, and I think I mentioned that, treating it. And he had his 6-month follow-up, almost 5-month follow-up. And they're like, hey, he looks great. And I was like, all right. And so we're just going to live our best life and he'll go back again for a follow up again, and 3 months or 6 months, it just kind of depends on how he's doing, and then that's about it. That's about it, guys. Anyway, I was going to talk a little bit about some of the other food bloggers and weight loss, what they call weight loss bloggers or drama channels or whatever. I did notice something about this gal named Life with Jen, and I don't follow her that closely, and I'm not sure, did I see a reaction to her? No, I think I saw like a live video to her, and she was saying something about how her and her partner were talking about moving, and then they just didn't move, and she was like sabotaging them moving and sabotaging like her weight loss and her health and all this stuff because she just was like, I think, nervous about potentially moving and leaving their apartment. Something, there's a story there, right? And I'm not trying to downplay her story, but I noticed something about her, just the lack of coping skills, and I was just like, girl, you got to learn how to cope with this, and so and that's, I kind of have seen that with some of our other girls too that I follow, Chantel and Amberlynn, and like Hungry Fat Chick, even though she's not a weight loss channel, but like I've kind of seen that, like, where I was like, oh wow, like you guys all kind of have this lack of coping, and like this is what it manifests itself as. um but yeah, so maybe I'll talk about that another day. I also want to talk about gaslighting, um, as it relates to my own experience with the woman my brother used to be married to. And it has come up again, and I just like, I don't understand how someone who doesn't know me, who didn't know me as a child or a teenager or anything, thinks that it's okay to try to make me think that my own memories of like my own interactions and my own actions and thoughts as a kid did not happen the way that I remember them. And the fact that she's been able to manipulate, like specifically my brother, into thinking that I am a horrible person. And that's so bizarre to me. And it's just like, I mean, how fucking psychotic do you have to be? And here's the deal. They haven't been together in years, and yet my name is still coming out of that bitch's mouth, and I just think that that's weird. And I don't know if it's like, and I can always tell when my brother's been with her, like hanging out, because he says stuff to me that is just super out of context, and like things that I may have said to him when we were 9, and I'm just like, why is this coming up now? Like, you're 40 years old. Like, I don't understand, and I don't understand like what it's all about. And so that also is kind of related to the situation going on with my dad, is that because of the gaslighting that has taken place, like I will have to document every conversation that I have or record it or whatever with my brothers, in case the one brother's ex-wife decides to stick her nose in any of this and try to make it seem that I'm trying to like take over and like force my dad's wife out of the picture and like all these things, because I can already see it like in my mind, like how she's going to take this situation when she finds out, and how she's going to turn it into a story about how Karen's just trying to do this, because she's a bitch, or she's, power hungry, or she's a gold digger. That's one of the things that she has always said about me, is that I'm a gold digger. And I was like, I don't think that means what you think it means. And so I've never understood that. And I'm just like, where is that coming from? Because like, if I was a gold digger, do you guys think that I'd be driving a used car, living in a 2-bedroom condo, paying for it by myself? Do you think I'd pay my own mortgage if I was a gold digger? Do you think no, like I just, no. So like these crazy things, and just like, yeah. And it's hurtful. It's hurtful. And like, she's the one, and I think I mentioned this in like one of my first vlogs, that she's the one who wrote me like this 92-page single space letter telling me that I'm a terrible person and my family's ashamed of me and I've ruined everything, and like repeating conversations like that happened between like me and my dad's wife when I was 17, like, and I was like, who told you that, like who, and just taking things like out of context and like trying to cause issues. And she has successfully unfortunately caused issues between me and my brother, and I mean, like, imagine this, like, imagine being 30 and having to call your mom and tell her to yell at your brother for being a dick. Like, imagine that, like, not being able to handle your business, and it's just like, and then my little brother is non confrontational, and I don't have any issues with confrontation, obviously. And not even in a negative way, right? Just if someone says something, like, be like, hey, what's up with that? And my brother can't do that, and um, so yeah, I don't understand what I did, and I don't understand why she would want my brother to hate me. Like, he's my brother. Like, I've known him his entire life. Like, we've known each other our entire lives. Like, and then how was she so easily able to convince him that I am not who I say I am? Like, I just am, like, apparently, you know, this terrible person, and I didn't even know it, right? So yeah, so I would love to talk about gaslighting sometime. But anyway, um, I'm gonna wrap this one up, guys. Sorry about the video issues today. I don't know what my problem is, but it's probably because I'm wad drunk. I should probably eat before I film. Anyway, have a fantastic night. I will see you guys again on Friday. The Packers play this weekend. Oh my God, please don't fuck it up. I hate Tom Brady. I'll probably film a little eat with me. I might cook like some of my freshly meals too, or whatever I ordered. Fresh Direct. I have no idea what I ordered. Fresh Direct or something. I might cook some of those. Maybe do a little cook with me, eat with me thing. Otherwise, I will see you guys again soon. Have a great night. Take care, everybody, and be kind. Bye bye.